Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. Dun, dun. It's a raccoon with a talk show slinging culture facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Hey there everyone, it's Beaton, and I bet you've already noticed things are looking a bit different here. Trash Can Tidbits now has a slightly bigger budget, and I'm planning to have fun with this green screen tech. The layout may look more elaborate, but I'm still here to bring you some tasty trivia. Last week I asked the question, true or false? In Batman Returns, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman puts a live bird in her mouth in one scene. The answer is true. When Catwoman and the Penguin meet for the first time, she intimidates him by putting her hand in a bird cage containing a bird and puts it in her mouth. She wasn't required to do this, but she insisted on doing it for real. First with a stuffed bird, but then she decided to do it for real with a real one. And it even flies out of her mouth too. Tim Burton was reportedly shocked and in awe when he was filming it. Fun fact also, the famous scene where Catwoman whipped the heads off of 4 mannequins was also shot on the very first take. That is amazing. I told you nobody even comes close to her performance. Now, let's get on with fact number 1. Did you know that Olii Carvalho is the youngest actress to play a Disney princess? She was 14 when she was cast as Moana and was 16 when the movie opened. She's also the second actress to have played 2 Disney princesses, the second one being Ariel in The Little Mermaid Live TV special. The first actress to have somewhat played 2 Disney princesses is Broadway and West End star Lea Salonga of Miss Saigon fame, providing the singing voices for Princess Jasmine from Aladdin and Mulan from Mulan. Fact 2. Did you know that the creator of Batman almost had a cameo in the Tim Burton Batman movie? Bob Kane, who originally conceived of the character, was going to play an artist who would jokingly give the character of Alexander Knox a caricature drawing of a bat in a 3-piece suit. A Bat-Man. For time constraints, Kane was not able to film the cameo, but the drawing that is seen in the movie was still drawn by him, and his signature can even be seen. Fact 3. Did you know that a subplot for Who Framed Roger Rabbit could be seen as a possible reference to a sequel to the detective movie Chinatown that was never made? A major plot point is Judge Doom wanting to demolish Toontown to create the freeway system. This is most likely a story idea for a movie sequel to Chinatown that was never made, in which Jack Nicholson's character, Jake Gittes, stumbles into a plot to demolish a large amount of occupied property about to be demolished to make way for the LA highway. This movie never got made, but some of the plot ideas made their way into Roger Rabbit. I mean, think about it. Both movies have a washed-up detective fighting his own demons who takes on a seemingly small case only to stumble onto something much bigger. Fact 4. Did you know that the characters of Sheldon and Leonard from The Big Bang Theory were named after an acclaimed television producer and character actor? Writer Chuck Lorre was a fan of Sheldon Leonard, a character actor who appeared mostly as gangsters and tough guys in such films as To Have and Have Not, Guys and Dolls, and It's a Wonderful Life. In his later career, Leonard became a television producer of such shows as The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Andy Griffith Show, I Spy, and Gomer Pyle. Chuck Lorre named the lead Big Bang Theory characters of Leonard Hofstadter and Sheldon Cooper after him as a tribute. Fact 5. Did you know that the character of Dr. Frasier Crane from Cheers was originally written to be an only child? This was actually addressed in one episode of the series, in which Frasier himself also admits his father died. When the spin-off series Frasier was created, Kelsey Grammer originally argued against giving Frasier a father and a brother, but the creators convinced him that it would be creative license, and Grammer eventually agreed. It was later explained on that show that Frasier made up the story about his family life because he was mad at his dad. Fact 6. Did you know that the theme music to the production company Morgan Creek is a snippet of a famous movie theme produced by that studio? In 1991, Morgan Creek produced Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and the music was composed by the late Michael Kamen, who also wrote the music scores for films like Mr. Holland's Opus, Die Hard, and Lethal Weapon. The theme music for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was also used in the company's logo from about 1991 to 2001, and for a time was even used by Disney for their home video promos in the mid to late 2000s. I would actually love to see a mashup of that particular Robin Hood theme mixed with scenes from Disney's Robin Hood. I think it would be a fun montage. Fact 7. Did you know that in the opening credits for the James Bond video game Tomorrow Never Dies for the PlayStation, there is an extra credit for a song that is not actually in the game itself? The song, Letter to Paris, which was written by the game's composer, Tommy Tallarico, is actually present on the game's soundtrack album. Growing up, I actually first heard a snippet of the song on the game's official website, and it wasn't until a couple of years later that I found the soundtrack at the now defunct Tower Records in New York. Such sweet memories. Fact 8. Did you know that the PS1 game Batman and Robin was actually one of the first attempts at making a giant open world in a 3D environment? The game itself is technically impressive, colorful, and featured a then brand new open world Gotham City, but the overall execution of it is, well, shall we say, not good. It would take well over a decade before the vision of an open world Gotham City to come to fruition in the Batman Arkham games. Fact 9. Did you know that there are 2 versions of a prequel movie to The Exorcist? Both films starred Stellan Skarsgård as Father Lancaster Marin, a younger version of the character played by the late Max von Sydow in the original movie, fighting his demons, literally, during the end of World War II. The first film that was released, Exorcist: The Beginning, was directed by Renny Harlin and was released in 2004 to overwhelmingly negative reviews. It was actually a recobbled version of a movie that was already made by director Paul Schrader called Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist, and actually endorsed by Exorcist creator William Peter Blatty. Fearing that Schrader's intended version would be a failure, they reassembled the version made by Harlan, but after that version flopped, Schrader's version was to be released after all and had a more favorable response. Whew. Are you still with me? Good. Now, Dominion is actually the better version and more of a psychological horror film than a straight-up horror film like Exorcist: The Beginning. Fact 10. Did you know that one of the characters in an Uncharted game was written out a quarter of the way through because the actor who played him got the role in the movie? Graham McTavish, who played supporting character Charlie Cutter in Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception, as well as main villain Lazarevich in Uncharted 2, actually got the role of Dwalin the Dwarf in Peter Jackson's Hobbit trilogy. Cutter was written out of the rest of the game by having him break his leg so that McTavish could travel to New Zealand to film what eventually became the Hobbit trilogy. McTavish has since been seen and heard in such projects as Outlander and the Netflix Castlevania series, playing none other than Dracula himself. And here's this week's trivia question. Dwayne Johnson has had quite the busy resume in recent years, hasn't he? He's become one of the biggest box office stars in the world, and though he's still affectionately known as The Rock to this day, it's hard to believe that he only began going by his real name in his movies fairly recently. When he made his debut in The Mummy Returns, he was known simply as The Rock. But he has since stopped using that persona in his movies as of a few years ago. My question to you is, which movie was the last time that Dwayne Johnson was credited as The Rock? And there we go for this week. Now, where do you think we should go next time? I got a green screen now, so anything is possible. Leave a comment down below. And as always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click on the bell for future video notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.